Hello, everyone, and welcome to Regina and Friends Crime Chat. Boy, we got a doozy of one today. Apparently, the public information that I gathered from FOIA and from the Herald Times newspaper, as it is a matter of public record, got me struck down, and also a Facebook page that is mandated by federal law to be made public because it has political views on it posted by a political figure. So I guess we're just going to have to do this and talk about it the old-fashioned way. But first, let's do this. Alrighty, first things first. We're talking about the heinous murder of Troy Alexandria Murder. Whenever I say heinous murder, I'm not talking about my words. Those are the words of the chief of police from Forest City, Arkansas. Through my investigation into her death, I have found multiple things that alarm me quite greatly. And today I would like the opportunity, if it's all right with all of you, to share with you why I think, I'm pretty sure actually, that the murderer of Troy Alexandria Stroke is only looking at a 10-year minimum sentence for her heinous murder. Not to mention leaving her nude, stuffed inside of a plastic gray storage tote on the side of the road. Okay? So let me do this. How do we get justice for Troy if Micah Lacy's family runs St. Francis County? Well, what do I mean by that? Well, you see, Micah Lacy was charged with the murder of the beloved Troy Stroke. But you see, Micah Lacy's mother, Margaret Lacy Winfrey, is the justice of Quorum Court District 3 out of St. Francis County. She controls the purse strings. Micah Lacy's stepfather, Roy Winfrey, is the mayor of the town of Madison, Arkansas, within St. Francis County. Micah Lacy is being tried in St. Francis County, where his family holds positions of power, influence, and control. These are the facts of the case. The positions of power being obstacles in justice for Troy Alexandria Stroke, presenting a conflict of interest. Our problem: how is Micah Lacy held accountable in a county where his family holds so much power? How do we get justice knowing he might be given preferential treatment when he showed no mercy for Troy? Sammy, what do you think about this?
Well, I can't help but feel like and believe from what I've seen, mommy has influence over all of this, and it should not be going on in this court system. They should be recusing themselves, moving this to another county altogether.
I completely agree. I completely agree. Hello, Sammy. Hello, Low 12. I said Sammy, didn't I? Hey, Connie. Hello, Connie. Hello, Low
Hi.
12.
Hi, Connie. Low 12.
So, I don't understand it. I don't
So can you
understand it.
can just begin with, hey, we started out with this case being local to us, and this being a channel where Regina is really wanting to help the people in society learn about law as far as your rights and things like that. And we came into this case and decided together to cover this and follow this through the courts. And it also will help to show people how the court system worked. And then we fell in this deep, dark hole. of,
Yes.
well, yeah.
I don't understand how a sheriff can tell me that this poor woman who was brutally murdered's family is being investigated because they have a YouTube channel called Justice for Troy. But I was told that by Mr. Dale Arnold. Whenever, in all actuality, shouldn't we be investigating the fact that Micah Lacy is a habitual, violent, and repeat offender? That this man has a rap sheet longer than I am tall of not only violent crimes, but being armed in most of his crimes, revocation of probation more times. Sammy, how many times? Oh my goodness.
I don't even remember. I honestly, it's way beyond whatever our limits are as far as trying to stop somebody from committing another felony.
This
And the class,
case, go ahead.
well, the classes of felonies are widespread as far as what you're allowed to have.
Yeah, this man is a habitual felon, and whenever it says 1 to 4 felonies, no, 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 no. He's got lots of felonies. I'm talking a rap sheet literally longer than I am tall. Granted, I'm only 5'2", Sammy, but a rap sheet longer than I am tall.
Yep.
The facts of this case are Troy was assaulted, left nude, stuffed into a container on the side of the road. Multiple parties were involved in this crime. Multiple people. There have been 3 arrests made. 3 people.
And another person institutionalized against their will.
Absolutely. And another person institutionalized against their will. Said person was wearing Troy Alexandria's Stroke's necklace after Troy was murdered. How she got that necklace is up for speculation, but it's been proven that it was Troy's. But she was confined as a ward of the state in a mental institution. I have all the documents. For anyone that would like to see all of my documents, all you got to do is go to my YouTube community page and join the Discord, because evidently I'm not allowed to share documents on YouTube anymore, or information on YouTube anymore. It's awfully funny, the video exposing the fact that Troy Alexandria Strope's murderer, who is only looking at a 10-year minimum sentence, is the son of a quorum judge, and his stepdad, Roy Winfrey, is the mayor of Madison City, Arkansas, in the same county in which Troy is being tried. In which Micah is being tried for Troy's murder. This is a problem. You don't get to be a quorum judge's son and murder and sell drugs and carry a firearm and hurt people and assault people and sell drugs and ruin the county you live in, and your mama be a quorum judge and get a little, no, don't do that, slap on the hand and get away with it.
Well, maybe he thinks he can because apparently she has another son in a Texan prison for murder as well.
Oh, yeah, Sammy, I completely forgot about that one. Hey, Becca Chu, good to see you, beautiful. So here we go. Now, the thing about the address that I shared, it's a matter of public record. Why is it a matter of public record? Because it was put in his probable cause affidavit as part of the reason he was being charged for being within the vicinity of a school or a courthouse, or a church. Now, the information I published about his mother, Margaret Boyd Lacy Winfrey, is a matter of public record because it is published in the Herald Times of Arkansas. Her Facebook is federally obligated to be made public. Why? Because she has posted her political views on her Facebook. She is an elected official. That is federal law. So, Sammy, why did my video get taken down?
Probably because they didn't like your content and they felt threatened by it.
Well, what would be so threatening about having people say, hey, call in the phone number that she has published for her to be contacted at as the quorum judge? What is wrong with saying, hey, maybe someone should call this woman and ask her why it's okay for her son to be a murderer and a drug dealer and a habitual offender and someone who commits violent crimes, and him only be charged with first-degree murder, carrying a minimum sentence of 10 years, whenever anyone else in that county or anyone else, any one of us even, if we committed a crime like this, look, I'd expect them to put me in the frying pan. You hear what I'm saying, Sammy?
Well, probably because that's a question we should be asking the prosecutor and no one else. Maybe.
But Sammy, I did ask the prosecutor that, and he stormed out of the room.
Oh, I know. But in your video, I think they felt bullied is why it was removed for that complaint. You were bullying them by spreading the knowledge.
Right, but here's what I think is actually going on. I think that elected officials have their children out building a drug enterprise in the city of Forest City, Arkansas, and are allowed to run amok and do whatever they want as long as they're bringing money in.
That's exactly what we're seeing. That's exactly what we're seeing in all of the reports and
Hey, Davey,
details
good to
of
see
all the
you.
rest, all of the rest that have been being made. Yep.
Yes, Davy Jones, I absolutely have heard of MK Ultra. Absolutely. The little project where they turn youngsters into assassins and all this other stuff. Yes, I know what the MK Ultra is. We
Look,
didn't
we're
find out about
finding
that
through,
for 50 years, did we?
well, we're finding out through this documentation, all the documents that we're gathering. They have too many things in common. Um, Many of the people involved are related to someone in an office in that district. Um, and it is being, these people are being circulated through the court system to the extent of they get non-supervised probation and massive fines. And it doesn't matter how many counts they have against them at that moment. That's what we saw. This is what's falling into place.
Right. But allegedly, the county doesn't have the money, Sammy, to prosecute him for capital murder. That they don't want to spend the money. Why? Was Troy's life not
That
worth that?
doesn't change the
Is all
fact
of our
that this
safety not worth that?
that doesn't change the fact that
Hello,
this
dark
is
side of the
capital
moon.
murder. This is capital murder.
Straight up capital murder. Everything about this case that I have found out to be a fact, a fact. Some things I cannot say. Some of this will be revealed uh, in an interview that I'm doing with Eve, Troy's aunt, coming up. Some of this will be revealed then, and it's Sammy. It's going to leave you so mad. I don't know if you're. I don't know if I'll have to mute you. You know what I mean?
I do. Hey, I'm trying. I'm trying. At
No, no,
least
no.
it's,
I'm saying whenever her family interview comes out, I
yeah,
promise y'all are going
yeah.
to be mad. And I got to be honest with you. I have found evidence to support everything they have said. Evidence. And by evidence, I mean court documents, files, everything. It's all there. And I'm going to go so far as to say this: corruption in that town is what got Troy murdered. Straight up. It's what got her ended horribly. I'm going to say that straight up. It's why the chief of police said it was a heinous crime, because it was. And it's their fault. It's their fault.
I agree.
They let they let a repeat offender who was known to be violent carry weapons and evidently sell drugs next to churches and schools, who has a history of assault and everything, out on the street. And there's more to this story too, but out of integrity for Troy and her family in this case, I'm not going to tell certain things until her family does. That is for them to do, because this is Troy's life. It's their loved one. But it's going to blow y'all's minds. There's no possible way that Troy's homicide is charged as first degree murder. I could not for the life of me, after I started finding out things about her death, Sammy, for the life of me, figure out why it was first degree murder, until I found out his mama was a quorum judge and his dad was the mayor of a town, Madison, Arkansas, in the same county. Now it makes perfect sense.
Yep. Oh yeah.
It makes perfect sense why the prosecuting attorney got mad at me and stormed out of the room now. Whenever I was just asking, I was like, so can y'all tell me, with everything I know about this case, why isn't her case being charged as capital murder? And the prosecuting attorney going to storm out and refuse to answer me? Acting like a little kid? First of all, you're a public figure. You should have answered me something. Even if it was, I cannot comment on that case at this time, but that's not what he did. How unprofessional can you get, Mr. Ladd? How unprofessional can you get? And then my video of showing everyone that Michael Lacy was the son of Marguerite Winfrey Lacy. I mean, Marguerite Boyd Lacy Winfrey was taken down whenever everything I used was a matter of public record. Why? They don't want people knowing that the judge's son is a monster and deserves, honestly, I don't want to have to pay taxes in the state of Arkansas as long as I live here to feed and clothe and put that man on a cot for the rest of his life after what he did. But he's not even looking at the rest of his life in prison, you guys. He is going to be free in a decade to do this to someone else, more than likely. Now, there is no innocent until proven guilty in a court of law for me whenever it comes to Michael Lacy, because I heard him stand up in front of the court and say, I'm guilty as F. You see, you know what? Proud of what he did. I have been told by the lead detective, Dale Arnold, that there is a signed written confession in this case. Hello, Aussie True Crime. Good to see you, beautiful. I was questioned by the victim's advocate who I was while the DA stared me down, Mr. Ladd. And I told him, I'm an independent journalist covering the case of Troy Alexandria Murder. Who are you affiliated with? What part of independent journalist practicing my constitutional rights don't you understand? Fair enough. And he walked away. Then me and my 15-year-old daughter got followed from Forest City, Arkansas courthouse to Harrisburg, Arkansas by an unmarked police SUV. And the only indication that it was a police SUV was that it had a light on it. My daughter's like, Mom, why is this cop following us? And I'm like, they're not following us. What are you talking about? Sammy, you were on the phone with me.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And I'm like, no way, no way. This is, no way we're being followed. And Sammy's like, Sammy, did you not tell me to pull over somewhere and watch what they did?
Yep, I did.
And I pulled off. And then
Yep.
this unmarked police vehicle with the, what's that called? That light they use, that
Spotlight.
spotlight.
Yeah.
Yes, spotlight. With the spotlight on it, pulls into a business 4 roads down, faces the road. Okay. I go back out on the highway and this dude waves at me. And then I pull off to the to the grocery store just up on the left-hand side of the road. And I watch this dude, and I'll be darned if he doesn't back out of his parking spot and head back to Forest City, Arkansas. I mean, if he was conducting business at that business 4 parking spots down, don't you think he would have got out of his car?
Right.
Instead of waving at me? And my poor daughter, I said 15, she's 16. My poor 16-year-old daughter has her mouth gaped open all the rest of the way home, scared. After I was asked who I was associated with and refused to give up my private information as a private citizen, practicing my constitutional rights. And Sammy,
Mm-hmm.
you got to court on that Tuesday before I did.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't even let you bring a pencil and a piece of paper in the courtroom to record anything, would they?
Nope. The man
Nothing.
said you were allowed nothing.
Nothing.
You weren't allowed to take notes. Nothing.
Nothing.
And the worst part is they had the prisoners out. And I'm talking people that were in shackles and handcuffs and giving them pens and having them sign documents. And I watched one prisoner go back to the bench and sit there with
Thank
that
you,
pen
Becca.
in their hand the entire time for about 30 minutes until she walked up. She was asked to come before the judge, and she walked up from the bench to where she was supposed to present herself, and along the way handed the pen off into a podium, in a shelf in the podium. So she had that pen that entire time. So them saying me bringing something in there when I am a good 50 feet away from them is a threat to someone in there is wrong. I still don't see the logic. But anyways, I had to say that because I was hyper aware and I was watching everything, including that.
So again, everyone, here's what we're up against. This is okay. As a parent, as a mother, as a citizen of Arkansas, as someone who loves the life of others and the liberties of others and believe that we should be protected. That's what we pay our government for. Okay. That's what they tax us for. They say we need protection. They take our money for that. As a person that pays taxes and lives in this country and in this great state of Arkansas, I'm going to let you know right up front. I don't want Micah Lacy out on the street in 10 years to do this to someone else.
I want to remind you his mother's other son is in prison for first-degree murder out in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So, what does this tell you about the overall family dynamics here? And this woman's in charge of something in that courthouse.
That's true. I'm saying, Davy Jones, they take our money and tell us it's for our own good to protect us, but we're not getting protected. I know.
These people are taking full
Hey,
advantage of their
Tatsu.
community. They're taking full advantage of all of their citizens who are, they are at the mercy of these courts right now. They're poor and they're needy, the ones that are needing help because they may have a drug problem now.
Read
They're
back text,
being
Amy.
brought in to they're being brought in to circulate money. They are creating a system of taking advantage of their citizens. I just feel like that's something that's very egregious. I'm very lucky. The city I live in, we do the complete total opposite. We have people in our community and the system in our community that is consistently trying to give people avenues where they can help themselves when they're ready to. And if they're not, we have facilities for them to go to try to get the help they want or need. We do everything we can to feed them, to help them find a place to live. We do everything we can to try to help them get educated, even at the smallest levels, to help them get out there and be able to work and to be able to function in society. This is not what I see happening in St. Francis County or in Forest City, not in the least. I saw a court system taking full advantage of the poorest of the poor in their county and giving out. Um, you'll have to excuse me. It just blows my mind, even still. Um, they're handing out probation that does not have to be supervised. So you might get 1 to 3 to 5 years or even 10 of unsupervised probation and then some pretty hefty fines. And then you walk out of there and they got you. They got you. They're not supporting you. They're not putting you behind bars and feeding you, none of that. They're taking advantage of you. They're not
Now,
offering you the services you deserve.
that is exactly what I seen in court. I seen person after person after person go up there for felony drug charges, get a $10,000 fine and 3 years unsupervised probation.
It
No
kind of
mental
felt like
health,
money
no
laundering.
rehab. It did. That's what it felt like.
I said to Regina, I said, Regina, this is like money laundering. She just looked at me with a side eye.
That's exactly what they're doing. And might I also add that it's awfully interesting that Margaret Boyd Lacy Winfrey's other son that is in prison for murder was also charged with drug trafficking, just like Lacy before he killed someone. Just like to throw that out there. Gee, I wonder what he was doing in Texas with a whole bunch of drugs, transporting them back to where? Where was he transporting all those drugs he was going to deliver to? Maybe Forest City, Arkansas. Oops,
So
did I just say that? Did I
can
just say
you
that?
mention
Allegedly.
can you mention to the good people listening again where they will be able to find the documents, being as you were strict down for putting documents on this last video we did. Let them know again.
There, if you go to my YouTube page, kind folks, there is a link for my Discord. On my Discord server, you will find different case files, different cases and things. And if you will look under Troy Alexandria Stroke, go look at it and tell me what I'm talking about. You'll figure it out real quick. That's where all the that's where all this information is, that I would gladly love to put on my stream and show you guys, but my last video got taken down for doing that. I wasn't struck. I didn't get a strike. They just removed my video.
Right. They removed it, but they didn't even inform you of it.
Oh, they did. They did. I went back and checked my email and they sent me a message. Hold on, Timmy. I'll tell you what time they sent me that message that they had removed my video. Let me find it real quick. It's way down here. Hold on. They told me at. I'll tell you when they sent me the message. I was asleep when they sent me the message.
I put a link in here for the Quorum Court, Arkansas County, .org for the counties in Arkansas. A basic, it's a link and it's a PDF for information on to help you understand better what the Quorum Court is.
Okay, they told me at 2:40 a.m. they had removed my video. I don't know about you, but I can tell you what I was doing at 4:20 this morning. I mean, at 2:40 this morning.
I
You know
was
what I was?
snoozing. You were cutting logs. You were awake. I know you were awake.
I was wide awake watching Planet of the Apes, all the movies with my son.
Oh, holy. Oh my goodness. How cool was that for him?
Oh my goodness. It was actually wonderful. It was wonderful because my 19-year-old son comes up to me and goes, "Hey mom, that movie we watched with the apes the other day, can we watch that again? Can we watch? You said there was more of those. Can we watch them?" And I was like, "Absolutely, son." you know. And so here we are. I think we finally watched the last one and got it over with at like
Yes, Lo. Troy's family wants justice. Troy's family deserves justice. Troy deserves justice. And this is not serving out justice.
Troy's
They're
family
looking
is
out. They're
begging for
watching the
justice.
back. They're watching out for the bad guy here.
Troy's
As far as
family
that
is
county.
begging anyone and everyone to listen and to share this to get justice for Troy. But let me explain something to everyone. It's not just justice for Troy whenever it involves all of us as well, because let me explain something to you. This man did the most awful things you can imagine to another human being and is looking at first degree murder. That carries a minimum sentence of 10 years, a maximum of 25. I know for a fact there's already a written confession in this case. This man, his mama is a quorum judge, and he is looking at the lesser of sentences strictly because he is her son and the stepson of the mayor of Madison County, Arkansas. There is no other way to explain it. None.
I have a question for you.
Yeah,
Can people FOIA the financials of that quorum or that
absolutely.
county? Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I think it's gonna take multiple phone calls to the FBI because of the fact that
Oh,
his
yeah.
mother is a quorum judge in this case. Because let me tell y'all what, I've seen it with my own two eyes. There's some backroom wheeling and dealing going on in these courthouses. I've seen it with my own two eyes with Micah Lacy. With my own two eyes. My own two eyes. And this man is going to get a sweetheart plea deal, not even charged with the actual crime he committed because his mama is a judge. And that's not justice to anyone because let me explain this to you. This man is violent. He has no concern for anything he can do to help another person. Let me put that out there. He only cares about what he can get out of someone and what kind of rage he can unleash on another person. And as long as this man is not either executed or put behind bars for the rest of his natural life, he is going to be a threat to any society that he is let loose on. This man's files, his criminal history, and everything are on my Discord server. I can repost the link if need be, if it needs refreshed. Matter of fact, I'll do that as soon as the live's over. But people need to understand what kind of monster is going to get a sweetheart plea deal and unleashed back on the world. Because that is exactly what's going to happen. I pay my taxes. Sammy, do you pay yours?
Absolutely. Yep.
Isn't that what the government's for, to try to protect us? Isn't that what they claim? Isn't that why they take our money?
I have yet to really figure that all out, but what else?
But if this man is released on a sweetheart deal because his mama is a quorum judge and he has not been properly charged with the crime he committed, then he is going to be a threat to all of us whenever he gets out of prison. This man that stood in front of this poor, grieving woman's family and said, I'm guilty as F. Like he was proud of what he had done to her.
Absolutely disgusting.
And then, you know what happened? Then the defense attorney for Corey Anderson, who was one of the people charged with abuse of a corpse in Troy Alexandria Strobe's death and played a part in her murder, his
Allegedly.
allegedly, his public defender, no, he's charged with it. We can say that. He's charged with it. It's not alleged. He is charged with it. Uh, so we don't have to say allegedly there. That's a fact. He's charged with it. Um, this man, his own attorney, public defender, whenever um Micah gonna stand before the judge and say guilty as you know what. Um, gonna say that she challenged his plea because it wasn't a plea hearing. I thought you were allowed to submit your guilty or innocent plea at any time in the United States. But she challenged his plea. The attorney for Corey Anderson, who is also charged in this case, challenged his guilty plea and then told him she was trying to help him whenever he told her basically, I don't even know what you're doing here, woman. I don't, like I don't need your help. I don't want your help. Why? I don't know. I think his mama sitting in the courtroom, Miss Margaret Boyd Lacy Winfrey, the quorum judge for St. Francis County, whose husband is the mayor of Madison, Arkansas, in the same county, might have had a little bit to do with that. Just a little bit. This is not justice. This is not justice even a little bit. This is not justice for all of us. I mean, whose kid's next? Who's he going to be proud of murdering in 10 years again? And then whose fault is it going to be that he did it again? Is that when people are going to start caring? Or do people just think it doesn't matter because Troy was overcoming addiction in her life and she was a high risk person? Does that matter? Should that be the basis on what our lives are valued at? What about the potential that a person has? Like my little sister who overcame it all, that I'm finally able to have a relationship with. Troy's never going to get that opportunity because she was brutally murdered and treated like nobody and nothing. Well, Low 12, it's not Governor Huckabee anymore. It's actually his daughter, uh, Sarah Sanders.
Yeah, Sanders. Yeah.
And Sammy happened to write a letter to the governor of Arkansas. And you know what they told us?
Well, now the Attorney General responded and the governor has not.
That's right. The governor has not responded. Anyways, after what I've seen in that courtroom, after what I have heard from the attorneys' mouths, after what I have uncovered myself and what I have found to be true, there was a time whenever I was concerned for the sanctity and for the integrity of Troy Alexandria Strope's homicide case because people were talking, but now I'm absolutely terrified after speaking to the lead detective in the case and finding out exactly who Micah Lacy's mother is and his stepfather is. I'm absolutely appalled by our justice system. Appalled.
When you have the murderer's parents heavily involved in influencing all of this is not where this should be tried. And I'm having a very hard time understanding how this is happening and no one has intervened. No one has done the right thing here at all. I've been trying to get the attention of anyone and everyone who might have a say. And it's gotten to the point where I'm just starting to wonder how far this corruption goes.
I'm scared to know. I mean, we got a brother of Micah Lacy in Texas on first-degree murder, trafficking charges. Okay. Where was he trafficking to? And then we got Micah Lacy dealing, trafficking drugs, and killing people. And apparently it's okay for him to only be charged with 10 years for killing people. Proud of what he done. Proud of what he done. The way he said, Let me see if I can find it real quick. I want to share something with all of y'all because it's absolutely beautiful. And I found this early on. It's something that Troy posted. That I would like to share with all of you because it's absolutely stunning. It's beautiful. Troy was a beautiful woman. Mr. Hill, which is the city police chief, had only the best things to say about Troy. She was a woman with struggles that was finding herself, and sadly, she'll never have the opportunity to complete the mission she set out on because she was stolen. Let me find it real quick. It's beautiful. Okay. Let's see. Give me just a second.
I will tell you along the way, people, we have found out so much heinous stuff that has slowly but surely been verified through connections, documents, timelines that is unfathomable, to say the very least. This is absolutely corrupt. I'm not sure how much of that we'd be allowed to share here, but I do want you to know if you go to the Discord and you get your hands on the documents and other things, there will be other things in there. You'll start to see the connections yourselves because there's many things in common in these documents.
I think I'm getting close to it.
I just know it will blow your mind.
Oh man. See, it's almost impossible. It's almost impossible. It just breaks my heart. It's almost impossible to go through the Facebook page and not be heartbroken for this family. I mean, it hits you.
I put that link to the PDF again in there that gives you a little bit of information on the quorum courts in Arkansas. That's what that link is for. It's a PDF.
Let me see if I can find it real quick. Okay, I think I found the right one. Hold on just a second.
You can also call or go to the Bar Association's website for the state of Arkansas and get more information, and also file your own either complaint or ask questions. I have posted that in the Discord as well.
I'm looking for it. Um, she wrote it, and it just. I'm looking for it. um, I'm not finding it. I wanted to read it again because it is so deep and beautiful. This woman had an ability in writing that just moves you to your core when you read it. It moves you. It's her poem, I Am Troy, and I don't know why I can't find it. I wanted to share that with everyone. She was so beautiful. Yeah, I'm not finding it. I might have to get a hold of someone.
For anyone that is interested, I have a link to the obituary if you would like it. I'm going to post it into the Discord as well.
Oh, Sammy, I can't find it. I really wanted to read that.
Is there a chance you put it in her room? No.
Hold on, I know where to find it. I just thought of it. Maybe. I think I know where to find it. Give me just a second. Thank you for making me think of Discord.
Ultimately, we started this out just as a integral part of the channel, just to cover a case in full, you know, including how the courtroom works and just doing our civic duty as citizens to observe and take notes and just be present, in society as citizens. And we discovered so many shenanigans. It's not even funny. It has led us to this point of, We are trying to bring awareness and attention to this case because it so desperately needs it. Um, we see what we believe to be corruption going on here, and we're trying to get the attentions of anyone and everyone who may be able to intervene here for the justice of the victim. And from what I can understand, that the victim's advocate has not always responded to the family, which is just unthinkable to me that that's their job. What does that say? I've been in the courtrooms in my system and observed, and they're very organized and very, it just seems like everything they're handing out suits the case and is justified. And the judges
This
here
family is
even listen.
absolutely justified.
Yeah. Well, the
Okay, I
judges
found it.
listen.
I
Okay.
found it. I found it, Sammy. I want to read it. This is the words of Troy Alexandria Stroke. I have hated this woman. I've not loved her at full capacity. I fed her lies and told her she wasn't good enough, and I have allowed others to tell her she wasn't good enough. I've allowed her to be broken. I've allowed others to treat her disrespectfully. I've allowed her to run through brick walls and battle for others who don't even stand for her. I couldn't stop individuals from abandoning her. Yet I've seen her get up and stand to be a light to the world and love others despite all of that. I have stood paralyzed by fear while she fought battles in her mind, heart, and soul. This woman has screwed up many times as a girlfriend, a daughter, or as a friend because she doesn't always say or do the right things. She has a smart mouth. She has secrets. She has scars because she has a history. Some people love this woman, some people like her, and some don't care for her at all. She has done good in her life. She has done bad in her life. She will not pretend to be someone she is not. She is who she is. Every mistake, failure, trial, disappointment, success, joy, and achievement has made her the woman she is today. You can love her or not, but if she loves you, she will do it with her whole heart, and she will make no apologies for the way she is. This woman is a warrior. She's not perfect, but God calls her worthy. Sorry, hold on. She's unstoppable, gracefully broken, but beautifully standing. She is loved. She is life. She is transformation. She is grace. She is brave. She is Troy. She wrote this. Troy wrote this.
That was beautiful.
It is what it is one of the most self aware, beautiful, honestly composed things I've ever read.
Yeah.
She had so much potential, so much potential. She was a beautiful soul. She had struggles like the rest of us, but she had a smile for everyone she came across. She had kindness and compassion for everyone she came across, and she deserves justice, and her family deserves justice. So I would ask that you please Anyone listening, share Troy's story. Share what's going on, because I believe that is the only way that there can be justice for Troy, is if enough people outcry to the quorum judge whose son this is and the district attorney. That may be the only way that there is justice for any of us. Because without there being justice for Troy, there is no justice for any of us. Her family is just like our own. We have all had our troubles. We have all had family members that we worried about, that we've stayed up late at night worrying about. Those family members and the ones we love, are they any less worthy of justice? No, they're not. They are the least of us and should be protected by all of us, loved by all of us, given compassion and mercy by all of us. And sadly, that's not what Troy got. And it just breaks my heart to think that she might not get justice. Because if she gets justice, I don't feel like any of us get justice. I have a little sister who is in the same place as Troy in her life. She hated me. She told me she hated me. My sister did. Whenever she was in the worst of her times, because I wouldn't enable her. But you know what? My sister, she got the chance to do better. And now today, she is living a healthy and sober life because she was given that chance. Troy was robbed of that chance. She was robbed of birthdays with her family. By the way, tomorrow is Troy's birthday, everyone. Tomorrow is Troy Alexandria Stroke's birthday, but she'll never turn 43 because she was brutally murdered at 42 years old. And tomorrow's her birthday. I can't imagine what her family is going through. I can't imagine. It's terrible. And if there's any part that I can do, even if it is just getting the word out there and sharing with what people are willing to listen, then that's what I'm going to do. I'm sorry, Sammy. I didn't mean to.
Don't be sorry. I'm not sorry.
So, um, that's what I wanted to cover today. I do have an interview coming up with the family, and they can tell their side that I'm not going to tell because it is their side, as this is their loved one. And I'm going to maintain the integrity of Troy and what she went through. But I will tell you guys it was not good. And she was brutally murdered in cold blood. And she was put in that tote. Let me remind y'all of something. Troy Alexandria Stroke was 5'10", and she was put nude and dead inside of a 29 to 30-gallon Walmart plastic storage tote and left on a county road, on the side of a road, for children on four-wheelers to find. Is that, is her life worth no more than 10 years? Hmm. I hope not, because that means, Yes, Esther, exactly. Yeah, like trash, like she was nothing. They treated another human being like trash, and they're only looking at 10 years. What an injustice. What an injustice.
Well, I see it more like I feel like the court system is supportive of this kind of atrocity in their among their people. You know, when you're looking out for the murderers inflicting this kind of stuff, because we found out there's even more going on than just that.
Yeah, a
Um,
lot more. You
yeah.
guys, this case is so corrupt and awful. It's unreal.
But the
So much
court
more
system
going on.
appears to be supportive of these monsters,
Yeah.
and it's disgusting.
Well, it seems like they're supportive of their drug dealers that are feeding the addicts that are coming in court getting 3 years unsupervised probation with $10,000 fines. I mean, it
They're
really looks
also
that way.
allowing they're also allowing them to run around killing people. There's
Yep.
too many cases that are unsolved.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. Whenever I was in Forest City, Arkansas, covering this case in court, a woman pulled me off to the side and told me Micah Lacy should have been in prison for murder before this. You should go look up the 2018 case on the Forest City website where the guy was murdered and burned in his car. So if y'all would like to, you should go look at the St. Francis County uh, Sheriff's page under um, hot cases, because that's where you'll find a case from 2018 where a man was murdered and burned in his car. And I was told by a complete stranger that this man should have been in prison for murder already from the case back in 2018. Micah Lacy should be in prison for murder already, but that's all I have on it. But then I'll be darned if I didn't go back and look in 2018 and the case exists where a man was murdered and burned in his car on the road, left on the side of the road, burning in his car. So, yeah. You guys, please share this story. Like, subscribe, or at least hit the like. Heck, even hit the dislike if you want to, if you don't like the content, because it still feeds the algorithm and her story needs told. This needs put out there. It breaks my heart too, Esther. It really does. It really does. I couldn't imagine having that much potential and then just. Mm. And you know, her family is trying to do this the legal way and the right way, and they're hitting roadblocks at every single turn. Every single turn. And it's disgusting.
So as all right, a victim's family member, what are you entitled to, like in the state of Arkansas, for example, when it comes to this sort of a case?
Well,
What are
for starters, you should be entitled to their full autopsies and everything, which the state is denying Troy's family. You
what else?
should be entitled to any and every one of their criminal files, or, like, say if they were, Sammy, I can't say that. I can't tell that part, the
Right,
other part
right.
of that yet.
If there's a
But
loss of life.
if there's a loss of life, you should be entitled to all of their records as an immediate family member or an approved family member by the court if all other immediate family is dead. But her family has been denied records already, multiple records. And this case is sealed. As a matter of fact, the only reason I know that there is a signed confession that corroborates all of the evidence in this case is because Dale Arnold, the lead detective in this case, told me that himself. because that's sealed. That's not supposed to be known. Oh, but he told me that back on July the 8th, I do believe it was. On July the 8th or June the 8th, I can't remember which. But he didn't tell the family until the 22nd of July. Many, many, many weeks after. Many weeks after he told me that.
How do family members go about getting these sort of records?
They file FOIA requests and they go through the critical records, or I can't think of the name of the records. Sammy, darn it, if you hadn't asked me.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to establish here steps for people, for her
Well,
family,
there's
and for
okay
others who
for
are
her
in this
autopsy.
situation.
For her autopsy and her death records, they would go to the coroner, the state coroner, to subpoena those records.
What other things are they entitled to, and how can they achieve at least requesting these things?
Sammy, we're going to talk about that in the interview.
Okay. Well, then are they entitled, when they get denied, are they entitled to appeal it?
Yes, they are, but they have to have an attorney to appeal it. And guess what? Because it's out of St. Francis County, Arkansas, I have called attorneys on this family's behalf to try and help them find an attorney. And as soon as you mention Forest City, Arkansas, they refuse to help.
What does that say? What does that say?
That tells me that nobody wants to touch it because it's in St. Francis County, Arkansas. And why would no one want to handle any kind of judicial or litigation in St. Francis County, Arkansas against St. Francis County officials? Because of corruption, maybe?
Yes, exactly.
So, you guys, in remembrance of Troy, I would ask that you guys please, everywhere you go today, on any social media platform you can, just throw a Justice for Troy Stroke up there today and tomorrow in remembrance of this poor woman and her poor family dealing with corruption. That's all I would ask that you do. Um, Sammy, is there anything else that you would like to add before we go?
I think you've hit the nail right on the head.
Well, I think you hit the nail right on the head too. So,
Thank you.
you guys, the only thing we can do in these times is try to be a voice and get the information out there, because there are people that would go against you to put the truth out there. Don't ever let them silence you. Don't ever be silenced. There's always another way to get around a river, if you know what I mean. And Troy's family will not be silenced. They won't. As long as any of us give her a voice and share her story, they are not silenced. And together we are many. So there are legal ways that you might be able to help. And one of those legal ways is to bombard the district attorney's office and ask them why the case isn't charged as first degree murder. Yep. And that's perfectly legal too. Perfectly legal. I'd like to say that's not harassment. They are elected representatives, and they work for us, not the other way around. You can't be harassed asking why. You can't be. It's not considered harassment whenever you're calling out your government for the grievances. So let's do that. I'm going to do that. Esther. It says, Esther said it reminds me of my cousin. Tragedy. She unalived in the hands of someone that was a friend and neighbor, but dismissed this person. But the way she was found horrific in the back of her own home. Oh my goodness, Esther. In the back of the orchard 30 years ago. Oh my goodness, Esther, I'm so sorry.
But it never leaves you. I mean, you're forever scarred by these things. It leaves behind so much shrapnel for family to have to cope and deal with and find ways to cope to begin with.
So I would just ask that if anyone is going to help advocate and share her story, please do it legally. If you're going to call and ask questions, do it legally. Don't harass, don't go to their homes or anything like that. But yeah, make those phone calls. I implore you, make those phone calls because Troy getting justice is all of us getting justice. And that's the truth. Um, you guys lock your windows and doors and stay safe out here. It is absolutely crazy in this world. And we are our first and only true line of defense. And I realize that more than ever now, that justice is a challenge for all of us to achieve. All of us. Share a smile and save a life. You never know, the life you save might even just be your own. Treat each other with kindness and compassion because you may never get the chance to do it again. While you still have a light, let it shine. And I would like to share this with you all real quick. Um, 1 second. Where is it? I can't. Wow, Sammy, some more of my videos are gone.
Are you surprised?
Let me see if it's in my shorts. Maybe it's in my shorts. No.
You're keeping things in your shorts?
um,
Maybe that's the problem.
it's not there. It's gone. Well, I was going to share the memorial video I made for her, but it's gone. Weird. All right, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Share a smile, save a life. Be kind to one another. Share your blessings. Sometimes it's all we have to share. And be a light in the darkness. Be a light in the darkness. And with that said, blessings and good night.